FM 88.1 WHPR, the Highland Park, WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliate, management, or sponsors.
SOS Graphic Design provides agency quality professional graphic design services from established companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo, complete rebranding, and delivering visual communication for print media. SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective: to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342-2166, or online at www.sosgraphicdesign.com. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair specialists, and check out our many hair services such as hair treatments, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, coconut twists, children's braids, maximum twists, lock extensions, pinky twists, Uganda pop, updo, wool weaves, and more. Please feel free to visit us on the web at 826-0498. Here at Sisters Braid 2, we offer exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braid 2 is a proud recipient.
This is the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how unique what the Skepticism is, and we're actually doing. You can make online donations and click on links to start.
We just said another.
And for more information, 313-868-0000, the local number. Again, 313-868.
Fellow Sunday tick. Maps.
FM 88.1 WHPR.
The second day.
WVIE 107.3
Right now?
Amalia, Virgin Island Park, Detroit. WHPS, its affiliate, management, or sponsor.
This deal won't last. Only on DirecTV.
You sold with someone that has a different view than your own.
The recording has started.
Then, Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon on WHPR TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning? You can call it live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. That's 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. And now, let's go live with a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
Truthful and the most just. I greet you all once again who are hungry and thirsty for righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's salam alaikum. We want to, before we begin, we want to give those who have disagreements with us the opportunity to discuss those disagreements. So you may unmute your phone at this time by pressing *6, and I will be more than happy to conversate with you about what you think is erroneous or mistaken in what we are teaching. As a brother asked me, what religion do I believe in, when I was at the car dealership. And for we were discussing Christianity and whatnot. And I made it clear to him that even though I grew up in the doctrine that my mother and them, at least that my mother believed in, which was the doctrine of Christianity. So she took us into it too. But I never did believe it. And that's one thing. You can find people who knew me when I was a youngster. You know, I knew a lot of Bible verses and things. I participated in things. I had a good memory for the Bible, but if they be honest, they never heard me say that I accept Jesus as my personal savior and all that kind of stuff. You ain't never heard me say nothing like that, because I'm not a hypocrite. If I tell you that I'm your follower, then I'm gonna do that. So I never understood that. It wasn't that I disagreed with it. I just never understood it. And because I couldn't understand it, how could I make a decision about whether I believed in it or not? Trouble with you is you pretend to understand things you don't understand. You believe in things that you don't understand. That's why you get angry when somebody questions you about it or says something wrong with it. When a person condemns or seeks to condemn something that you claim to believe in, thank you, beloved. When a person disagrees with your belief, the mere fact that you say that's what you believe, it leaves room for disagreement. Because a belief is called a belief because you don't know whether it's true or not. You don't hear nobody to answer you 9 times 9 is 81. They say, I believe it's 81. Don't nobody that understand math believe 9 times 9 is 81. They know it is. And if you question them about it, they don't get mad. They just prove it to you. It's like when the man asked me about Christianity, I told him, I couldn't. That's a lie. It's a lie. I said, in the first place, you can't even find the word Christianity in the scriptures. It don't make no difference which one you're talking about. And when you look at the best definition of it, it says one who believes, a Christian is one who believes in the teachings of Jesus. Well, that would be fine if Jesus had a teaching, but Jesus didn't have no teaching. According to him, he said, the words that I'm speaking are not mine, but his that sent me. He said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. And he that believe on me is not me you believe on, but you believe on him that sent me. So, naming your doctrine after the man that you say is Christ, well, he was the Christ, just like I told him that. Excuse me. It's improper to call Jesus Christ. If you're going to call him Christ, you must put the in front of it. Because that's like calling one congressman or one senator Congress. There's ain't no one senator Congress. You call him the congressman or the senator. If you just want to connect them, you say, well, the Senate and the House of Representatives is the body that is called Congress. So when you say a congressman, you can be talking about a senator or someone in the House of Representatives. But their respective titles is representative and senator. You see, and sometimes they may get formal and say, well, Congressman so-and-so, and meaning just the House of Representatives. But for the most part, because the senators, they are members of the Senate. And private joke, it's kind of funny to me how they name themselves. But anyway, senators. But I think about all of these things sometimes, and it kind of tickles me. But the fact of the matter is, and we have we were talking, and so I told him, I said, now the reason I chose Islam is because of what it means. And I said, you just can't get away from the religion of Islam if you are a believer in righteousness, because the meaning of it is absolute or entire submission to the will of God. That should be everybody's religion. As Jesus said, not everybody that say unto me, Lord, Lord, go into God's kingdom, but he that doeth the will of my Father. Absolute submission to the will of God. That is Islam. And Muslim means one who submits. So if you submit, fine. If you don't, well, you ain't gonna make it. As I told him, you can substitute. I learned that in English. You can substitute the meaning of a word for the word in a sentence, and the uh, sentence will still make sense. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that believes in Islam. Okay, but he that believes in doing the will of my Father. He that believes in absolute submission to the will of God. It's just that simple. As the book of James says, submit yourselves therefore unto God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Okay, be Muslim unto God. Be one who submits to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. The Bible and the Holy Quran teaches you Islam. You must submit to the will of God if you want to enter into his kingdom. So all you fakers out there, and that's all you're doing, faking. You ain't fooling nobody. You don't really want righteousness. That's why you so in love with this world. And that's why you hate me so much. I understand exactly where you coming from. That's why when I ask you, point out what evil I did to you, you ain't got nothing to point out that I done done to you. So then why you hate me? They hated me without a cause that they could justify. But I know what the real cause is, Son of Man. It says the house of Israel not going to hearken unto you because they wouldn't hearken unto me. And you speaking with my words. So, what is it? Someone got your phone off mute? What do you want to ask me? What's the number? It's in Washington, D.C. It's a 202 area code. It ain't a 1600. Anyway, what is it you want to ask me? It's okay. Go on and ask. What's the number? 8003. You with the last last numbers of 8003 and the 202 area code. Why you got your phone off mute? Yes, I can hear you. You knew I could hear you. You just heard me talking about you. Talk into the phone, man.
I was just wanting to, I was hoping to point out if it'd be helpful to add that I believe that Acts 11:26 references Christian in the Bible.
Yes, it does. It represents it. It's more than one place in the Bible where it talks about Christian, but that was in Antioch where you talking about there, where it says, and the disciples were first called Christian in Antioch. And the reason they was called that was because of the meaning of the word. As most people don't realize that there's another way to spell Christian, and that way is Cretin, and that's what those people meant by it, Cretin. And that means an idiot. And when they saw people who they thought was crazy, in them days, they didn't have no insane asylum. They threw them to the lions. You heard about them throwing Christians to the lions and that kind of thing. That was because they considered them to be insane. And Christian was never a term that was used as a respectful term, just like nigger. Nigger, we was running around here calling ourselves niggers for a long time, when in actuality that was never no term of endearment. It was a term of disrespect.
Well, my understanding, and I'm speaking as an observer only, but my understanding is that it's the recognition of the power of words, right? So if you use the word, you take the power out of it. So
no, sir, you don't take the power out of a word by continuing to go along with it. You take the power out of the word by condemning it. As the Holy Quran says, you can't get rid of a lie by just talking about it. You get rid of a lie by telling the truth.
Well, but that is talking about it, right?
No, sir.
Correct?
No. Talking about it's just like me and you talking about Christianity. That ain't getting rid of it. What get rid of it is when you do like I did. You call it a lie and invite those who claim that they believe in it, that Jesus came here to die for us. Come in here and let's discuss that. Now, I'll prove that that's a lie. Jesus said that he didn't come here to die for nobody. He got on him about it. He said, did not Moses give you the law? And yet none of you keep it the law? Why go ye about to kill me? Then they lied. Said, we're not trying. Who's trying to kill you, man? You got a devil.
I don't think he came here to die for us, but everyone dies. And
You just said that you're a passive observer. Now you're going to talk like you somebody is a Christian. If you're a Christian, then come on in there and let's talk.
I'm sorry, I'm just a passive observer of the reclamation of...
Well, then you're not qualified to discuss what you don't have a knowledge of.
Perhaps. But Christianity, I can discuss.
Christianity is a lie.
Oh, well, I wouldn't argue that it can be something you don't believe in without being a lie.
No, sir. It can't be something I don't believe in without being a lie, because I'm one who believes in the truth, regardless to where it comes from, whether it's science, whether it's the science of agriculture. When you say the science of something, you are saying the truth of that thing. Anytime a person does not believe in truth, then they don't just disbelieve in one truth, they disbelieve in all truth. Because all truth is one.
The willful part of that is the problem, though, right? So if there's simply
the what? Wait a minute. Slow down. Now, what did you say?
I said it's the willful component that's problematic, right? So just because somebody is ignorant of the truth doesn't make them a liar.
No, I did. That's not what I said. We was talking about believing in something.
Right. If somebody was
okay, well, when you believe in a lie, then it takes the truth to straighten you out.
Yeah, but that doesn't make you a liar.
It only makes you a liar when the truth comes to you and you can't prove that the truth is not the truth, which no one can prove that the truth is other than the truth. When you don't accept the truth, now you knowingly have rejected truth, which makes you a liar.
I would offer that that's the teacher's responsibility to make sure that the lesson is acceptable.
No, it's not about making you comfortable with accepting truth. It's about making sure that it's just like when the sun rises. It's dark outside now. So people can look at things and make mistakes about what they're looking at. But when the sun rises, you can point out to people in plain truth with the help of the light of the sun and point out that, see, that's a rock. And see over there, that's this and that's that and that's that. Now, if they don't accept that and start calling it something else, well, then that person is a liar. And so, a lie is something that you tell knowing that what you are saying is not true.
Or they simply...
No, let me tell you, no, ain't no or.
Okay.
A lie is something that you say that it's this or that when you know it's not.
People make mistakes.
But I didn't say about mistake. We ain't saying about no mistake. A mistake is something that you think something really is, but it's not. That's a mistake. But when you know that something is not, and you keep on trying to say it is, you're trying to deceive people.
Yeah,
You are lying.
that would be wrong. But I would argue that most Christians probably legit or earnestly believe what they're saying. So
Well, I know. Why you think I'm out here talking to them?
it would be up to
In the 16th chapter of John, it tells you that. The 16th chapter of John, and it says, well, it may be the 15th chapter. The 15th chapter, I'm sorry. In the 15th chapter of John, it says this, in the 22nd verse, if I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me, hateth the truth that I have brought him also, hateth my Father also. And says, if I had not done a work done among them, the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now they have both seen and hated, both me and the truth that I brought them. So that's it, right there. So everybody got a chance. I offered all of y'all $20,000 in my life if you could prove that I'm teaching something that's not true. I don't hear nobody else offering nothing like that.
well, that you're very generous. But I also worry that you're forgetting about the sort of maxim that the true foil of love is not hate, but indifference, right? So
Wait a minute. No, that's not an axiom. The oil of truth is, when you said truth oil is not hatred.
not hate, indifference.
Oh, no, you got it all messed up. The book says was David a hater? But David said, Lord, do not I hate them that hate thee?
Right. Well,
He said, oh, no, well, wait. No, that do away with your axiom right there. David said, yeah, I hate them with perfect hatred.
Not everybody hates everybody.
And as the book says, these 6 things that the Lord hate. Yeah, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look. Where do you see a proud look at? That's on somebody's face. A lying tongue. I know you see that in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and all these people that supporting him. A lying tongue. Feet swift in running to mischief. Hands that shed innocent blood. That's 4 things, right? A heart that devises wicked imagination. Huh? All these things is in a person.
But only God is powerful enough to live in absolutes, right? You live in the real world where
if God was the only one powerful enough to live in absolutes, then he would be doing an injustice to tell you to follow him. No, you said it.
No, I don't have an injustice. I think it's
Well, you know what the scripture say the whole purpose for man is? The scripture says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And the Holy Quran says, Allah imposes not on any soul a duty beyond its ability. If you and I were not God, then it would be wrong to punish us for living ungodly.
Well, we wouldn't be living ungodly, right? We would be
No. If we are not gods, it's wrong to accuse us of being ungodly. That's like to say to a woman, that's very unmanly of you. Well, I guess she was there. I guess so. Since I'm not a man, you cannot hold a person responsible for a duty that is beyond their ability.
You can, but you probably shouldn't.
Beg your pardon?
I said you can, but you probably shouldn't.
No, sir, you cannot.
Right.
No. The only one who tries to hold someone responsible for something that they are not capable of is the devil. And then the devil finna be done away with. The devil is a incomplete mind that's in all of y'all.
Sometimes the criminal justice system.
No, the criminal justice system is that. It's a criminal justice system. And it cannot be otherwise. Because the instruction of how to be righteous was sealed up until I got here. You couldn't be righteous if you wanted to. That's why I forgave all of you. The only thing you're going to be held accountable for now is trying to be a deceiver and trying to do wrong while I'm standing here looking at you.
The challenge is that
there ain't no challenge. No, sir.
I find it. I don't. If you're a teacher trying to save people or sort of show them the truth.
I'm not trying.
I know. I'm saying hypothetically.
To try, you know what to try is? It is when you lack the ability to do. But when you know what you're doing, there is no try. It's just a matter of doing what you know.
Well,
the people that I'm not saving, it's not because I couldn't. It's because they wouldn't let me.
Well, exactly. Because there's naturally limitation to your ability to persuade, right?
No. There is the only limitation to my ability to save was your freedom of will. And that's what limits me. It's not that I mean, if that wasn't there, I could force all of you to believe.
Well, which is also why you're kind of a genius.
But I'm not.
It's also why you're kind of a genius offering this $20,000 because if anybody's here open-minded and willing to listen to you, it's probably because they're not trying to make you a liar. They're trying to understand you, right? So. Well,
understand something. I wasn't the first one did that. The first one who did that was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He offered $10,000 in his life. And so I doubled it since I'm his Lord too. So I had to double it. And to show everybody how big of hypocrites they was. Because they used to get up and brag on how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad offered $10,000 in his life. And I can play a tape and let you hear a sister bragging about it. And she said, "Oh, brother and sister, have you ever heard a man offer that kind of price for just one word that he's teaching, if you can prove him wrong?" And they made a real big deal out of that. Now, them same people hear me offering them $20,000 and they treat me like I'm nothing. But you see, understand something. I have to manifest what's in people. That's what the sun does. It manifests what's in seeds. I'm the Son of Man. I manifest what's in people. And they don't realize it until it's been done. Just like Donald Trump. I told you what was in him before he got out there. I told you what he meant by what he was saying. He ain't called me no lie. Donald Trump don't say nothing about me. I don't care what I say about him. He got more sense than a lot of these people. So
You acknowledge there's a difference, right, between somebody who is misinformed and somebody who's a liar.
oh yes, I know that everybody on the planet have been misinformed, including the devil, the one we call the devil, which is the white man. I know it ain't his fault.
Right. So I'm just offering,
So I mean,
perhaps you'll get further with them if you didn't call them liars.
well, I'm calling them what they are. When once I done told you the truth, it's just like every one of them preachers. Every preacher that's out there claiming God called him, he know he lying.
No.
Yes, he do. If you don't believe he know he lying, get him to come in here. I'm giving him a chance. What do you think I'm doing? Let me tell you something. Now, you've talked to me long enough to know that if what I'm saying ain't true, I sure don't know it ain't true.
I get it.
And you know how I know that. At least the way I'm inviting any and everybody to come in here and argue with me. Would a liar do that?
Certainly not.
Well, how come the rest of these people ain't inviting nobody to disagree with them?
Barely show that they're a liar.
There you go. See, I told you, let me tell you something. If you know what question to ask, it's the same as when you searching for oil. When you see a man, when you see these oil companies that have perfected that geological surveys and all of that kind of thing, when they start drilling, they know where they're drilling. And the drill is asking. And soon their asking gets the answer. They know how to pull the answer for what they're looking for out because they done did their research. Well, I done did my research on how you find out when people know that they are lying, when they know that what they're saying ain't true. I know how to find that out, and I'm teaching y'all how to do it.
And one of the reasons that you're
Just a moment. Let me finish. Let me finish this point. The reason I'm showing you this is so that you can see what I see. It does no good. What happens if a teacher, I don't care how great the teacher is, if the only one that understands how to solve the problem or how to think their way through something is the teacher, what happens to the students if you take the teacher away? Then they're lost again. I don't just tell you things. I show you how to find them out for yourself. Once you get in the habit of digging it out for yourself, then God will be all and in all. So whenever somebody tell you that God called them, well then, okay, God called you? Well, look, I'm going to bring my preacher over there. I'm going to bring some people over there, and I want you to straighten them out. And if they're not willing to do that, he know God ain't calling him. Because if God is with you, you ain't got to fear to talk to nobody.
right.
Like me.
But what about the faithful followers? You know, are we
A faithful follower is, you know what the word faith means? It means trust.
right?
And this is the way you do away with people having faith in falsehood. You get the one who's leading and you manifest that he's deceived them and they are trusting the wrong one. That's how I got these people that's following me. I showed them that they putting their trust in the wrong one. If someone, if I'm misleading them, then the first one that I've misled is myself, because I truly believe in what I'm teaching, and I believe I can prove what I'm teaching is true. Unless someone has something that they can present that will leave me speechless, like I do people. I've had atheists come in here and they shut their mouth at me after a while. You see, I know there's no such thing as an atheist.
Right. So it's a little easier to break down.
But most people, because they don't know who God is, they can claim to be an atheist. But once you find out who God really is, you can't be no atheist. You see? So.
And I believe that you're a good man, and I believe, like you're saying, that's the only reason why I just wanted to offer that it might be hard to convince somebody to trust you if it sounds to them that you're calling them a liar.
Well, the only one who gets offended, remember this, we got an old saying in this world. The first one that cackles is the one that laid the egg. Now, the only reason they would be offended is because they are liars. If after, like a person may come tell me and say, well, look, I was just believing in this. Now, I didn't know that it wasn't true. And you saying I'm lying? I would tell, no, you're not lying. You're not lying about anything if you really believe what you're saying. A lie is not a deceived, a lie is not something that a deceived person will tell you. A deceived person will tell you, this is what I believe in, and this is why, and such and so. And then you start showing them that, no, that's not right. That can't be right. And I tell you what, if you get your teacher and bring them, that's one thing will show them that you're not actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. Because the wolf, he avoids the shepherd. The wolf don't want to talk to the shepherd. The wolf want to talk to the sheep. But the shepherd, if he's truly a shepherd, he don't run from the wolf. He runs to the wolf. And so I tell people all the time, I'm not interested in arguing with students. Bring me your teacher. You talk to heads. You notice we are talking. Your body just sitting there. Your head doing all the talking. You see, I want to talk to the heads of these people. But their heads is all ducking and dodging, which tells you they ain't nothing but wolves trying to clothe themselves with the scriptures of God. Trying to hide up under the scriptures like a snake hiding up under a rock. Remember, Jesus called his teachings, the truth that he was teaching, a rock. He said, upon this rock, I will build my church. Well, you ain't careful. You go out in them woods and you turn over rocks and you may find a snake up under there. So you have to be careful.
So you identify their teacher as a false prophet, and so isn't it our responsibility then to help their followers by showing them or convincing them of the truth?
Well, first of all, some people who following somebody already know that they following a liar. Well, that's the first thing. See, I know a whole lot more than people think I do. So it's just like the people who support Donald Trump. If you're trying to convince the people that's supporting Donald Trump that he's a liar, well, you on the Late Show. Them people already know Donald Trump ain't doing nothing but lying. And they approve. They approve of what he's doing. So trying to convince them to somehow desert him, it shows that you really don't know what's going on.
People want to be talked down so long until they stop caring. Right?
No, it's not so much as people stop caring for truth. If you ever cared for truth, you still care for truth. It's like the creatures of the night. Wherever you find creatures that come out at night, they've always been creatures of the night.
You can find truth in our politics. You're a braver man than I am.
I didn't hear you, bro.
That if you can find truth in our politics, you're a braver man than I am. I don't know that that's the realm of truth.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. You got some kind of, to even be listening to me and having this civil dialogue with me shows that you're not a coward. So, bravery is not bravery if a person does not have some fear.
Each man can see that you're a good man.
So, well, it take one to know one. So I'm telling all of you, that stop. The Holy Quran says, "You are they that would love them while they love you not." That's why Allah had to intervene. Good people always think, "Oh, there's some good in them. There's some good in other people." They haven't realized that once the devil gains the mastery over you, it's like there is a point where when an apple is rotten, you can't cut the rotten part out because it's rotten all the way through. You reach a point where there ain't no saving you.
Can't believe that though.
Yeah, it's not about believing it. It's about what the scripture says. It says, "Let him that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that's filthy, let him be filthy still. And him that's righteous, let him be righteous still."
You would be saying for me. I don't know.
You see?
Very fun.
Well, I know you got tender heart, and most people, just like Noah had a tender heart. If it had been up to him, he'd open up that boat and let them try to all crowd in there and get drowned. But it wasn't up to him. You see, and it ain't up to you. It ain't up to none of y'all. I'm the judge. And I don't, you can laugh or cry for these people, but I'm the one judging them. They might fool you, they ain't gonna fool me. You see, I know how to find out what's in people's hearts. Allah gives me what I need to know to find it out. You see, I got relatives that I love, but my relatives ain't if you disbelieve, if they don't accept the truth that Allah has revealed, they ain't no better than your relatives. Because in actuality, we all relatives. Human beings all started from one, which makes us all family. I can't hear you. You kind of fade out when you.
You would all do well to remember that more often.
Still fading out. I can't make out.
I apologize. Actually not. I'll back on you, but thank you very much.
Thank you for calling in, bro. All right. So I want all of you to remember that the only life that you responsible for is your own. Now that I'm here, I'm not judging you by what somebody else did. You all being judged by what you do. Yeah. So, I'm very empathetic and sympathetic to you. But at the same time, I'm not going to be, when it comes to judgment, love and hatred has nothing to do with it. Those two strong emotions. No, it's all about the word of God and whether your name is in the book of life or not. If what you're doing, remember, what are you known by? And people say, well, I'm called, some people call me, you remember that fella that said, Mr. Johnson? And he said, well, you can call me Ray, or you can call me Jay, but you doesn't have to call me Johnson. And he went through all of that, but that's your name is what you're known by, right? Well, the scripture says, by their fruits you shall know them. Your works tell me where your name is. So, like I said now, this ain't no kinship and friendship thing. I hope you remember that, and I hope you take me seriously on that. If I was you, I would practice doing good all day, every day. Now, that's my advice to you. Okay? Because you become what you practice. You want to be a good person, you better start practicing good. Are we clear? Yes. And just like sitting up thinking evil about me, that ain't gonna help you. Whatever you thinking about me, it ain't gonna fly no way. Allah already chose me. And just like you go blind looking up at the sun, you gonna go blind, deaf, and dumb looking up at me, trying to judge me. So, Allah is my keeper. There's not a soul, but over it is a keeper. Why do you think the messenger said Allah is a man? He told you that. So, you can think crazy about me all you want, but that ain't gonna help you. Your evil thought that you entertained about your Lord ruined you. I did warn all of y'all of that. I warned all of y'all of that for years I've been telling you about that. But somehow you think that you can watch over me. Well, what has kept me alive all these years in Mississippi? Yeah. Especially when black people, some of them told me, we was wondering when they gonna come get you. Meaning what? They was expecting them to come get me, and when they had came and got me, they would say, well, I told him he didn't know where he was at. Huh? Well, look like I do know where I'm at, huh? Maybe it could be you don't know who I am. Like the book says, no man know who the Son is but the Father. That's why I come as a thief. Didn't nobody know who the white man was when he first came. He was just a stranger. Now nobody in this wicked world know who the righteous one is that God have created. Even though I'm telling you that's who I am, but you don't have so many people coming to you telling you God called them and all that kind of stuff. And now you don't believe nobody is called. So Allah, he said, son of man, you go ahead. You want them. So that's what I'm doing. Now, like I said, don't you find it strange that I'm giving you all these definitions of Christian and all of that kind of thing, and ain't none of these white people saying nothing? So I know that I'm speaking the truth. And it's doing away with the lies that's been taught about the Bible. Just like the Bible, I told you, the Bible is the ocean spiritually. It is the sea. You notice the mountain has frozen water up on it. And then the sun melts it and acts like the heart, pumping fresh water. And it flows down and brings life and refreshment with it. Then it winds up in the belly of the ocean. And it gets all polluted. But at the same time, acting like a giant, what you call them pumps out there? Them aerators. Like a giant aerator, bringing fresh aerated oxygen to the ocean. And so, if it wasn't for the sun, everything would freeze. And all life on this planet would cease to exist as it does now. You see? So, by the teachings of white people, all life died. That's why everywhere you look, you see nothing but wickedness, no righteousness nowhere. And the earth was without form and void. Why? Because before me, there was no God formed. And so, God said, the Spirit of God moved over the face of the water, like the light of the sun moved over the face of the ocean. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. You see? So I'm here saying, let there be light. And I'm making it happen. Remember, God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the water. Did the angels get busy and make it? There ain't no angels wouldn't get busy and made nothing. God made the firmament. And everything God said, he did. He's the doer of what he intends. And I come out, I ain't trying to save you. I'm saving. I don't know of no savior but beside me. That's what's written. Now, if you got a savior besides me, introduce me to him. You see? So I'm just happy to be in the mercy and circle of Allah. To be in the circle of truth is the greatest blessing of all blessings. So I'm inviting you inside this circle of safety, because everybody on the outside gonna be destroyed. This happening to them now. Let me show you something here. I want you to pay attention.
Today was the second day of what can only be described as an utterly absurd scandal in the Trump administration. Doggate, yes, Doggate, Yesterday, the president held an event outside the White House featuring Conan, the combat dog who assisted in the raid that killed ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. The president referred to the dog using the pronoun he and him, so everyone assumed the dog was male. But then shortly afterward, the White House sent a correction to the press pool saying that the dog was actually, in fact, female. After that made the rounds, the White House then corrected itself to say that the dog was male. So the story went around on Twitter and everyone moved on. But then again,
now you notice she's saying it right. Male, female. The White House tweeting out, putting out girl and boy. Since when is a dog a girl? Didn't hear you. Or a boy. See, some people got sense. Some people have sense enough to not, you don't refer to animals by the same title that you refer to people. It shows a lack of civilized knowledge. Do you understand? But now, what else they observing while talking about this? Listen now.
it happened, but then it happened again today. The Department of Defense told ABC News that the dog was a girl before reversing itself later in the day to say that the dog was actually a boy. So now this all might seem trivial, and maybe this just was a result of a comedy of errors taking place somewhere behind the scenes. But the frustrating thing is that we may never actually know the answer to something so simple as the biological sex of a dog, because this White House has made a habit of lying to the American public, especially when the president makes mistakes or thinks the truth reflects poorly on him. Recall the infamous Sharpie Gate, when the president created an interagency panel.
Now, let me share something with you. When I was a little boy, my mother used to, rice was one of our staple foods. And rice with margarine on it, which I call butter. But it was not butter. It was margarine. And my mother and my daddy, they all allowed me to refer to margarine as butter, when it really wasn't. Now, sometimes my mother would say, "Ma, we'll go around there to Eddie's and get me some butter," and ask for butter. And then other times she said, "Go around there and get 2 pounds of Oreo margarine." But I never made the distinction. And my mother didn't see the need or the importance of correcting me. But I got used to eating the margarine on my rice, and so that's how I eat rice today. But only I put real butter on it. If I'm going to eat some rice, I'll put real butter on it. And, I know some people used to put milk and sugar on their rice and eat it as a cereal like that. I didn't like that. But some of my friends, when I went over their house, I saw how they ate rice. I said, "Man, how you eating it?" And they wanted to know how I'm eating it with, well, if you're not careful, I hope all of you listening, if you're not careful, you're going to get used. You're going to allow yourself to get used to senators and congressmen or persons in politics, you're going to get used to them just lying to you, and it's going to be acceptable to you. And then your country is gone. And you've gotten used to a lying president instead of you rising up and demanding that that man be removed from office. You sitting up giggling and going on because it's funny to you. He know what he doing. At least the ones who, him and whoever else is going, he's getting you used to accepting a president that's not presidential. You're satisfied that he has disgraced an office that demands dignity. Now, and there's no dignity to be seen there. And you seem to be happy with it. It's like the people who couldn't compete with people with groups like the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Supremes, the Motown revolution. Motown gave music. Motown was a revolution in music. People that couldn't compete, so they decided to get rid of Motown. Now what you got? People talking and calling it music. Because they couldn't compete with what was there. Instead of being happy to have such talents among us and cultivating those things, you decide to do away with it, huh? Boy, y'all a piece of work. You can get mad all you want. It's like I've been looking for this they was honoring Diana Ross. Or they was honoring somebody. I think it was Diana Ross. And when she got up to speak, she told some of the young ladies, I think Miss Beyonce and some of those who, Beyonce good looking is. There's a whole lot of them out there good looking. Diana told him, said, you don't have to get undressed, disgrace yourself to entertain people. I can't find that on there. Anyway, those who we look up to, when people look up to you, I remember Muhammad Ali said this when he spoke at the 1975 Savior's Day when they was talking about the death of the messenger. Muhammad Ali said, Brother Herbert taught him that the messenger said, always look out for people who look up to you. I never forgot that. They said in this world that everybody that sports figures, entertainers, stars, whether they like it or not, they are role models. People look up to. Then you have a responsibility, along with great admiration and adulation of people. When people give you that, you owe them something back. That's one thing Mr. Gordy taught his entertainers, to be dignified. Uh, you know, he taught them how to sit, the ladies. He taught them to always conduct themselves in a ladylike way. And the men, he taught them to, be neat, clean, respectful. This was at the same time the teachings of Islam was all through the black community. So it spilled over on everybody. Allah anointed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's head with oil, and his cup ran over. So, I look at people now, and they think that celebrity gives them a carte blanche to just let any filthy thing fly out their mouth, or any insulting thing come from their mouth. And because people look up to them, the people allow it. That's a sign that your minds are all confused. That's what Babylon means. It means confusion. The Tower of Babel, a tower of confusion. It's like when you hear people over there talking and all kind of noise. You say, what's all that babbling over there? It's just another way of saying, what's all that confused noise over there? So I hope that you will pay attention and know this, that it is written that we could have given every soul its guidance, but my word was, I will fill hell with genuine men. All right. That's in the Holy Quran. Right. I like to give everybody something to hang their hat on. Now, if I don't, you later on have an excuse. But if I do, then it ain't on me no more. Just give me a minute here, and I'm going to share this with you. You will see that I'm not making up anything. I'm doing just what Allah commanded me to do. He said, Son of man, get thee unto the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them. That's what he said. And that's what I'm doing. Let's see if I can find it here. This is in chapter 32 of the Holy Quran. And let's go to the, I'm going to go to the 12th verse. It says, just give me a minute. It's a little short chapter. It says, and couldst thou, this is believers and disbelievers, and this is a comparison. It says, and couldst thou but see when the guilty hang their heads before their Lord, saying, our Lord, we have seen and heard, so send us back. We will do good. We are now certain. Well, if you wait until you're certain, then that shows you was unfaithful. Can't help it. Noah's people were certain. When it started raining, didn't they? They'd been glad to have a do-over. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So it says, and if we had pleased, if the truth had been pleasing to them, and if we had pleased, we could have given every soul its guidance. We could have made everybody understand just what I understand. But the word from me was just. I will certainly fill hell with the jinn and men together. Persons from among men seeking refuge with persons from among the jinn instead of doing what they was told, seek refuge in their Lord. The Lord of all of them. So, I mean, you're telling me nothing about what white folks done taught you. White folks ain't taught you nothing. Can't you see your condition? Well, tell me what they done taught you. You got all your degrees and stuff hanging all over the wall, and your people in poverty all over the earth, especially in the richest nation on earth. What has he taught you? Plenty of nothing. And it seems to me like nothing is plenty for you. I could ask the question to all of you right now. It's just like they're trying to talk about the economy and like Donald Trump had something to do with it. It had nothing to do with a good economy. The economy was good when he took office. See what liars do. He messing it up again. Him and his bunch. Yeah. You ask first, all y'all that's better off now than when you was 3 years ago. Unmute your phone and tell me how much better off you are. That's how that got Ronald Reagan elected. He just asked the question, are you better off now? Are the farmers better off now? What about the automobile manufacturers? Are they better off now? Who's better off now? I said, well, is he getting you? I'm satisfied. If you make it, I ain't no worse off than I was when Obama was in office. I told you, I'm not building my world depending on what happened to you.
I must not be too bad off. I can stand up here and try to offer you salvation. Do I look like I'm scared something going to happen to me? You know what they said? I'm going to let you hear them. But it's amazing how they were talking about the economy, and most middle class people can't afford an emergency if it arises in their household. And you know how much he said an emergency is? $400. They couldn't come up with $400. And you know what? I told them a long time ago how they could take care of themselves. They ain't paying me no attention. I used to think that white people, kind of had love for each other. But I guess I was wrong. Using them as an example of loving one another. And, their constitution was their, was their foundation. And now that they are being tried, because before now, people were afraid of the Constitution, which was a good thing. They feared to cross that line. Now you got somebody who don't fear to cross that line, and they don't know what to do. Huh? This man done turn their government upside down. Got them fighting and bickering with each other about what the law is. You mean all this time you've been up there and you don't know what the law is? You don't know what an impeachable offense is and the Constitution telling you? It's over, man. It's over. Yep. Oh, except Ukraine. Yep. Now, so all I can tell you now, you better try to save yourself, get yourself behind me. You better get in these classes. Because you ain't just about to lose your country. You're about to lose your mind. I'm warning you. You better listen. Okay. Everybody that's outside of this circle, soon, you ain't going to be able to come to me. Your fate going to be sealed. Now, let's look at this some more. Because they're going to talk about this.
Among U.S. emergency preparedness officials because he couldn't admit that he had been wrong about the path of a hurricane. Or after Hurricane Maria, when the president refused to accept that thousands of Americans had died in Puerto Rico because it happened on his watch. In fact, the very first White House press conference, you remember this, the first one ever held by this administration, was convened to promote the lie that President Trump's inauguration crowd had been the biggest in history. When we come back, I'm going to ask two former White House officials what it means when you can't trust anything the White House says, even when it's something as small and trivial as Conan the dog.
Before I let them come back and talk about it, I'll tell you what it means. That he that is unfaithful in that which is least could never be faithful in that which is weighty and over much. This man He does not tell the American people the truth about anything. And you support him. Every day that you don't make a demand for his vacating that office, you are supporting him. The reason wrongdoing politicians succeed is because voters who are trying to do the right thing sit back and watch and do nothing. You put him in there, it's up to you to take him out. And if you don't want to take him out, well, he's going to be in there. So, and I leave that to white folks. Like I told all these black people that's running for office, y'all need to just sit down. Can't you see white people don't want no other black president? Look what they done did to themselves. Just to show Obama that he can't tell them who's going to be president. He simply made the statement Donald Trump will never be president. What did he say that for? Huh? They showed him, didn't they? Yeah. I'm still waiting on Donald Trump to be president, though. Ain't you? They are too. Say, well, you seem like you hoping that he don't. Well, let me tell you something. I live here. I was hoping that he would do better. But when I was hoping that, he was steady doing worse. Until I finally realized that you can't unring the bell. Rain don't start falling and go back up. Once it starts raining, you better get your umbrella. You see? Now he is who he is. He read the snake to us a couple of times. I know two that I know of. He might have read it more than that, but I know he read it at least twice. So now, if you want to follow him, well, that's you. You want to go along with that? That's you. I can't do nothing about that. No, you got your freedom. So I tried to warn you, you didn't listen, and now you've got to pay the price for not listening. Now, let's watch this. Not a bad mood.
I was told about the breed. I was told about Conan himself, and you're very lucky he's not in a bad mood today, Jeff. Oh, really? Not in a bad mood, you're safe. So they're incredible animals, and thank you all very much.
Turns out the question is harder to answer than you think. Ben Rhodes and Neera Tanden are back with me. Guys, this is not about the sex of a dog. It's larger than that. This White House is a credibility problem with everything they say. The president visited Walter Reed the other day for an unexpected and unannounced health checkup, and we still don't know the answer to why he was there. Was it because he just wanted to get his physical done early, or was it something else? And we don't know that answer because the White House has been consistently misrepresenting or lying about things since almost day one of this presidency, Ben.
Yeah, and look, Katie, we can laugh about this, but the thing that is so serious about this is, look, I was in the White House, and a big part of what you have to do sometimes is, in a crisis, You have to give information, life and death information that people can trust. When there was an Ebola epidemic, information about how you can contract Ebola. I remember feeling the weight of that pressure. If there's an economic downturn, information that can move global markets. Hurricane, big weather events that put people at risk. And the problem is, knock wood, Katie, we haven't had a really big crisis, at least not that isn't one of this administration's own making, since Trump took office. What happens if there's a recession? What happens if there's an epidemic? What happens if there's a crisis where people need to trust the information that they get from their government? And I think this is a really big problem, that you can't even trust something as basic as what the crowd size was at inauguration or what the sex of a dog is.
Nira, so what happens?
I mean, I have to say, am I the only person worried that both the Pentagon and White House, two entities that are responsible for our safety in war and pretty weighty issues, cannot determine accurately the sex of a dog after 48 hours? I mean, it does strike me as really bizarre, kind of humorous, but also kind of insane. I mean, I agree with Ben 100% that it tells us that we can't rely on the White House for anything we have to deal with. I think we've sort of...
Now, to show you how your minds are leaving you, if you sitting there saying you can't rely on the White House, why is he still sitting up there? Why are you letting him stay in there? I told you, your mind about wrong. That would have been a no-brainer for white people 10 or 15 years ago. That would have been a no-brainer. Now, they kind of like what the Batman movie Joker told the boy. He said, I'm just a dog chasing cops. As long as things go according to plan, it's fine. But upset the plan and everybody goes crazy. They don't know what to do because they never expected a president to just outright ignore the Constitution. And now that they got somebody who outright ignored the Constitution, now you're finding out how many of them actually don't believe that oath was about anything they took. Because all of them took an oath to uphold the Constitution and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You got a domestic enemy to the Constitution, and they doing nothing. A lot of them supporting him, which makes them domestic enemies. But what is the point when those who supposed to, in that movie Billy Jack, you remember when he said, when those who are supposed to uphold the law break the law, then there is no law. Just the struggle for survival. Ain't that something? Their movies jumping off the page. Yeah. Whole pitiful thing. Sitting up, rolling your eyes at me when this man is rolling you. And making you the laughing stock of the world. Anyway, let's see.
In Kyiv, in which he sort of provided his account of this. And basically, he says that he went to Giuliani because he wanted to talk about this thing he ended up almost hiring Giuliani to help him with asset recovery. And he sort of makes it sound like Giuliani is obsessed with this Biden issue and he's sort of surprised by it. And in the Lutsenko telling, the reason why the contracts are never executed is because he is offended by the idea that he, the top prosecutor of Ukraine, should have to pay money to get meetings with U.S. officials, which is what he claims he wanted. Now, I'm not vouching for that account, but it is an interesting difference from the Giuliani account, which is is that he decided it was ultimately too complicated and decided not to pursue this. Lutsenko says it was his side that decided he shouldn't pay money for this.
Yeah, Lutsenko, I'm quoting from your story. Lutsenko said Giuliani told him he would have to hire a lobbyist to get the meeting with the Attorney General William Barr. He said he was told it would be impossible for him to get the meeting without paying, like literally pay for play. And he continued to refuse, I will not pay money for any meeting. The other issue here to me is that, this is not independent of the criminal inquiries right now. I mean, Lutsenko is actually, he's mentioned in the indictment of Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, the two business associates of Rudy Giuliani. He's not mentioned by name, but he is mentioned as part of the scheme that Parnas and Fruman are in part indicted for. And our understanding is that this is the kind of activity the federal prosecutors are looking at. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've reported that the interactions with Lutsenko and another prosecutor, former prosecutor Viktor Shokin, as well as the former president of Ukraine, Poroshenko, have been specifically among the areas of interest for the prosecutors as they've been out gathering documents. Another topic that they're interested in and have been gathering documents about, Rudy Giuliani.
All right, Rosalind Helderman, great reporting. Thank you for taking us through that. I want to now turn to Democratic Congressman Gregory Meeks in New York, who's a senior member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, which is one of the committees that is part of the sort of oversight committees that are involved in the impeachment inquiry.
Correct.
A sort of 30,000-foot view here for a second. Rudy Giuliani and his role.
Well, it just occurred to me earlier tonight as I was looking at this, that I'm learning more and more about how this government works. The Oversight Committee is committees in Congress that have specific jobs, to oversee what's going on in the executive branch, I guess, and to make sure that everything that's being done is in accord with the laws and the Constitution and is above board. So it's much more to this government than I thought, than I ever knew. And as watching it come apart, it's really something. I keep thinking about the story of Jonah and Nineveh, and how God wanted to spare Nineveh, and Nineveh was eventually spared because of Jonah's preaching. And so that might be the case here, I hope. Because the more you look at this, the more it seems to be a really crying shame that something that was so intricately put together to allow people to coexist with each other from all over the earth. You got people from all over the earth coexisting here in America, which shows the value of that Constitution. To see it all coming apart. He's talking about, they're going to start talking about history here, but you don't forget. History is always written by those who are victorious. If England had been victorious in quelling the revolution of the colonists, George Washington and all of them would have been traitors. He wouldn't have been the father of no country. He was called a traitor. Do you understand? So most people, when they write history, certainly they're not going to write history that shows them in a bad light. You have to be upright and honest to do that. And this world just ain't in it to do. Okay, so
I mean, obviously the impeachment testimony has focused on his role in Ukraine, but if you look at Venezuela, particularly if you look at Turkey, it does seem like this is an individual who is essentially peddling access to the president for profit on behalf of foreign interests.
Well, absolutely. And he's not an obvious, and that's why the Southern District Attorney's Office is looking at his transactions. You know, Giuliani's basically, his role basically in this is, he is the attorney to the mob boss. And as a result, he's trying to benefit from being associated with the mob boss.
By the mob boss, you mean the president of the United States?
That's what I mean. And so therefore, he wants to peddle that for his own personal wealth, as well as then get the dirt that the mob boss has sent him to Ukraine to retrieve.
Right, he's trying to get his beak wet.
That's exactly right.
Well, but here's my question for you as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. It does seem to me like there's some role here for congressional oversight on this. I mean, obviously in the context of the impeachment inquiry, we know a few things. One, the president attempting to abuse his office for personal gain in the context of foreign policy and a rogue channel of foreign policy. But we know that there are essentially backdoor rogue channels in other places as well, Saudi Arabia and Turkey, to name two. Like, is it your job and your committee to get to whether Ukraine is one point in a pattern?
There's a lot, because this is a cesspool. I mean, if you look at every angle of this administration from the day that they took office, actually, you can see, I can tell you how you can see it, because everybody's going to jail.
Right.
Everybody's around them is being indicted and going to jail. And I predict that some more will. Solomon decided that he had to change his testimony because he didn't want to go to jail. And I think you'll hear other folks that will be stepping up as we move forward in this regards, because they're, you know, you see what the mob boss is doing now. He's throwing Giuliani on the bus.
Okay, but here's my more concrete question. There's going to be a report sent from Intel to Judiciary Committee. They're obviously the sort of committee of jurisdiction on impeachment as a kind of legal matter. I guess my question is, do you foresee oversight on a broader set of issues relating to the president's use and abuse of foreign policy as pertains to the impeachment inquiry?
That's what I think that the Oversight Committee, as well as the Intelligence Committee, will continue to investigate. Adam Schiff has said clearly, even while we are moving the case to the Judiciary Committee for the impeachment inquiry and the impeachment hearings, investigations will not cease. That is the exact job of the Oversight Committee. And so now new chair, Carolyn Maloney, will be continuing those investigations and oversight of what is taking place with the administration and those that are surrounding him. We will continue to do our responsibility.
You've been a New York politician for a minute. You've known Rudy Giuliani, I'm sure, in different capacities. It's not that big a world in New York politics. I mean, what is going on? What goes through your mind when you see him in the roles that he has set himself and the TV appearances he's been making?
Well, look, I wish I could say that it would shock me. But if you really knew Giuliani, he was on his way out. And the unfortunate tragedy that took place in 9/11 is the only thing that saved him and made his, image a little different.
His reputation.
But he is who he's always been.
You think this is the Rudy that you've known your whole life?
Absolutely. Just as the president is who he has always been. They are the same individuals. They have never changed.
New Yorkers to the bone, both of them, aren't they?
We know them. We've seen them. I know. Look, when you talk about the president, for example, the Republicans know who he is. All you got to do is go back to videotape.
Yeah.
And you'll see that Lindsey Graham, you'll see that Ted Cruz and Mitt Romney and Nick Perry, they all told you who he was. And he's proven to be just that. Now, what's shocking when the videotape shows up and then you see how these folks are trying to defend him, it's, as far as history is concerned, they're going to look foolish because there's one thing that is going on. The camera of history is rolling. And people will be looking at this. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I'm on this show and many other shows so that the camera of history rolls to know what my position is and what we take. And when you look at Lindsey Graham, who apparently has now become the biggest hypocrite that there is, because if you listen to his words, I mean, you can just put up the videotape of his words about Trump and his words about Biden, and then look what he's doing now. It's all, if it wasn't so, serious, it would be laughable. You'd think this was a comedian.
Yeah, it is crazy the turnabout that we've seen. Congressman Gregory Meeks, thank you for your time tonight. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Good to be with you.
For more on Giuliani and Trump, I want to bring in Natasha Bertrand, National Security Court.
teenagers that are more prone.
Today, it was my experience that Mr. Trump inflated his total assets when it served his purposes, such as trying to be listed amongst the wealthiest people in Forbes, and deflated his assets to reduce his real estate taxes.
We've known for a while that Trump uses different valuations for different purposes, but a new ProPublica expose shows in black and white just how that worked with Trump Tower. Heather Vogel got her hands on business documents that show essentially two sets of books for the property, and she...
Now, here are these lawyers, Giuliani and Michael Cohen. And you know Michael Cohen, he was a gangster. Giuliani, I want to refresh your memory on him. I mean, him and Donald Trump go way back.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try. Mayor Giuliani, he's given away over $2 billion in corporate wealth.
Now there's Giuliani.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all.
Now he dressing up like a woman, and him and Donald Trump doing that. And now you got Donald Trump for president and Giuliani. Could you imagine what something like that would have done to Barack Obama's chances for being president? I told you, your racism done got you in a world of trouble. Thinking that a woman can't tell you nothing. You had a woman who had been First Lady of the United States for 8 years, had been a senator, had been a Secretary of State, and ain't no man been better qualified than Hillary Clinton was. And you went and put a con man in an office that needed a statesman or a stateswoman. And with Hillary Clinton, you'd have got 2 for 1. Do you honestly think that Bill Clinton would have just let her just do something that wasn't going to benefit this country? When he was president, the economy was doing fine and the nation was doing fine, for the most part. But anyway, you got what you asked for. You got to live with it now. Because you ain't got sense enough to, at least you didn't have, you used to have sense enough to protect yourself. But that's what happened when you go to sleep on guard duty. Yep. Thinking that something can run itself. You know, they even got cars out here that can drive themselves, and people's going to sleep in there and waking up dead. You think I'm gonna sit up in the car and go to sleep and let a machine drive me? No, sorry, boy. No. Mm-mm. Especially with new technology. They tell you all the time they ain't got the bugs out of it. I mean, really. Man. You and somebody controlling the thing. You see somebody controlling your computer, they got back doors in every computer. Now act like you don't know. If I know and I ain't even no computer hack. You think the people who made these things didn't leave a way for themselves to get back in there? Yeah. Okay. That's why I don't understand why they don't understand that the one who made these bodies know how to get back in there. What is wrong with you? Do you not see people committing murder, suicide? What's making them do that? You think innocent mean not guilty. Haven't you read that there ain't none righteous? No, not one. Innocent means to not have knowledge of. Yeah. That's another meaning of the word innocent. Yeah. This, you don't realize the wages of sin. So I'm telling all of you, pay attention. While you have me here to guide you, pay attention. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found by you. Because when your mind goes, you can't see what's right in front of you. Seeing is understanding or perceiving what you are looking at or who you are looking at. Okay. But anyway, I just was looking at all of these things. I thought I would let you see them. Just little snippets.
Now, all right, what are the documents you got your hands on?
All right, well, the documents I got, there's two sets. One of them is property tax records that I got from a New York City agency that handles appeals for property tax valuations. The other are documents that were disclosures that were made when Trump's debt became part of commercial mortgage-backed securities. And so there are disclosures in both of those, and some of them, there are some differences in how they're put together, but there's some numbers that should be very close. And what I found was some really key numbers that weren't. They were very far off.
Yeah, you say as of December 2011 and June 2012, respectively, Trump's business told the lender, this is when they want to inflate the value, right? It's in their interest for the value to be as high as possible, that 99% and 98.7% of the tower's commercial space was occupied. In tax filings, however, Trump's businesses said the building's occupancy was 83% in January 2012, a year later, right? So they're telling two different people, two different occupancy rates that should be the same.
Yes, yes. And the follow-up occupancy was also 83% for the property tax. So it wasn't like, that possibly they landed a new tenant or something. There was maybe some explanation for this huge jump. They were consistent in reporting the gaps, if that makes sense.
So I guess the question is like, can you do that?
Well, there's nobody that looks at both, but each of them are supposed to be prepared accurately. They're supposed to be drawn from financial statements. They're supposed to be vetted by both the lender, by the credit rating agencies, and also by the property tax officials who are both putting together his original valuation and then also looking.
Now, as you listening to this young lady explaining oversight of the revenues and stuff that everybody has in America. And there are departments of the government that oversee that. Most people haven't thought about the fact that the reason this government was so successful was because of its ability to monitor and keep the playing field somewhat level as far as business and all of that goes. Just like Al Capone, he was making his money by actually corrupting the society along with others, and the society itself was helping him, and the government kind of put a stop to it in a way that would allow people to have their drinks, but have some control over it, where people wasn't messing around there and making themselves sick by getting a bad batch of, moonshine or whatever. But they got him for tax evasion. Now she's showing that this man been actually cheating on his. The little that they did get from him. Now it's more that they eventually gonna bring out. Look like, because he's been ordered to turn over 8 years worth, and he's fighting that. But that fight will go on even if he ain't president, even if he do get to be president. The Supreme Court, if they ain't completely done already been hoodwinked. But the main thing is that it's all catching up with you. Huh? It's all catching up with you. So these things that's being shown to us now. I mean, Al Capone they put him in Alcatraz for what, 5 years? He died in there, didn't he? For tax evasion. So, I mean, all these people that's up there, now you see why they want smaller government. You remember Norquist said we want to reduce it down to the size that it could fit in a bathtub. Then it can wonder what we're up to. They don't, but when you're not up to no good, you don't care who see you. But you see, they don't, I mean, just for him to even say what he said tells you that they figured they had so many people, so many corrupt people in positions of power that he felt safe to say what he said, especially with the educational system having been dumbed down the American public. I mean, you got these computers that just about ruined the young people. You saw that commercial with the little boy getting on the phone while he's playing his game? And his grandmama could hardly get up out the chair. He picks up the phone, dials his grandmama, and say, "Grandmama, I'd like another soda." After she done got up to answer the phone, come to find out it's him sitting there at his computer playing the game or something, telling her he wants a soda. Too lazy to get up and go get his own soda. Little old fat booger. But anyway, I mean that is reality. You know, one of the greatest mistakes that people make is thinking that all new things is progress. Well, that's what happens when you have a one-track mind. We are bipeds. You notice we got two basically of everything. Don't you think you need two sides of your mind too? In order to see clearly, if you think I'm lying, close one eye and see how much of your vision is impaired. And that's why you think that all new inventions, good things, new. Yeah. People were more neighborly before you got air conditioners. And it got a little less neighborly. But they did not come out on the porch and look at each other. Okay. Then you got radio, and then everybody huddled around the radio. Then you got TV, and then everybody looking at the TV. If those things had been used for a better purpose, they would have been progress. Like education. I mean, you could have been and had free education for the most part. Education, instead of making jobs out of educating. You could have had your best, your wisest minds with television. Then one scientist could teach millions of people. But, then you would have to find other means of employment until you found a way to realize that humanity should not be dependent on money to help itself. The best currency you could have for any society is brotherly love. That's the best currency you could have. Then it's just a matter of the whole universe would become your oyster. When you decide to work together as a family. You'd have been there to start figuring out ways to terraform planets and everything else if you wasn't so selfish, wasn't so negative and so hateful. You done wasted how much brain power, and that's what they used to call it when you kill somebody. I wasted that so. Wasted means shedded his blood. When you walking with something that's in a glass of water or a pitcher of water or whatnot, and you walking real fast, and some of it spill out, you waste that, right? Well, that's what they meant when they said they wasted him, meaning spilled his blood. Well, how many geniuses have you killed without knowing that that's what you had to Just like you see people out on the battlefield, that so-and-so is a pushover. That's because killing ain't his thing. Yeah, he was easy to kill because he wasn't meant for that. He wasn't meant to be out there in that kind of thing. He was meant to be somewhere in a laboratory figuring out a way to prolong your life. You're so miserable, and you ain't got sense enough to realize that one of the reasons you're so miserable is because you go along with helping destroy people who could have gotten rid of your misery. The human family has everything it needs in the way of skill to perfect itself and to rule and govern this universe. If we would cultivate it. George Washington and them had the baton, and they ran with it as far as they could and developed a constitution that was a good thing because it respected the dignity. It started us on the path to respecting the dignity of the individual. But as with all relays, when one runs his distance as far as he can, he passes that baton to the next one. Then he takes off as fast as he can. Do you understand? Well, the baton had been passed. Now the only one left to pass the baton to. The human family has mastered the natural universe. But the reason we cannot be crowned is because while mastering the universe and its elements, we spent so much time trying to master those things, and now our mastery of those things has manifested that we have not mastered the most important thing, ourselves. And so we can't take charge, because in order to take charge of anything outside of yourself, you must first be able to take charge of yourself. A man with epilepsy, if he have an epileptic seizure, he can't drive no car. You lack self-control. The only thing that gives you self-control is that you must surrender to your Maker. That's what he made you for. To fear him and only him, and keep his commandments. Use his elements for your benefit and not your harm. His commandment is life, not death. To fear God and keep his commandments. And his commandments is everlasting life. Never death. Everlasting life. And when you do things with the elements that causes death, it's because you did it your way and didn't seek his way of using that thing. Look what the television and the computer has the potential to be for human beings in the way of schooling, in the way of education, in the way of scientific knowledge. You could have, the whole society could have been brought in on this exploration of things, and you could have had this thing hooked up where people could, the same way you're using the vote, the same way you could use it to give ideas. We could have been to put everybody in a mansion. That's nothing. Everybody could have been had nice clothes and everything. You wouldn't have no congested highways if everybody was, look how just perpetuating a society. If you got automotive technology, how many shifts do you have up there? How many people are out of work? Okay. You can say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Everybody that wants to work in the automotive industry we'll break it down where you can work maybe 4-hour shifts or 2-hour shifts, depending on how many people. So everybody will have something that they can do to help contribute to the society. But at the same time, nobody has no bills. Then everybody just pitch in. Could have 24 people on an assembly line for one particular job, 24 for the other particular job, 24 for the other particular job, 1 hour on and 23 hours off. Or you could make it 1 week off and an hour on. You certainly got enough people. Just like bees in a, how many trips do you suppose the average bee makes to get all that honey that be in that honeycomb? And while he's making that trip, he's enjoying himself. Do you understand? Ain't nobody whipping him. He just flying, he coming back, dropping off a little something, and flying back to help feed himself. Oh man, we could, like the book says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, study her ways and become wise. Man, I got so many ideas that, you can't come up with no argument against nothing I come up with. You'd rather see people eating out of garbage cans than everybody having a mansion. You produce automobiles. To what end? Most of them, you don't hardly sell. Your world is at an end. Mine is just coming in. And when everybody realizes what I have in mind for them, they're going to flock to me. Then we're going to go and get this done. You see, You are satisfied to have rich and poor people. I've never liked that. You think I'm jealous because I see somebody got plenty? I'm not jealous of you. Because I know I don't need to be jealous of you. I could make everybody rich if they get with me. If I had 100,000 sincere people, I'd start making millionaires, and by the time I'm through, everybody on the planet won't get with me. I don't see a world that's going to require money in order to have something. The only thing that's going to require of you is righteousness. We look for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwells righteousness. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. Well, if you love the Lord your God with all your heart, where does that leave money? It leaves it for just what it is. A piece of paper that you done put a logo on and an inscription on and made it your God. Well, money ain't my God. And I'm going to show you what money should be used for even in this way. Because I'm doing it. I'm showing you what it should be used for. To help yourself and help those who are less fortunate than yourself. That's what it should be used for. I'm not talking about help a wino stay a wino and help people that's on drugs stay on drugs. I'm not here to support no wine habit and no drug habit. I'm not here to help you commit suicide. You coming up to me asking me for no $5 so you can go get you a hit and all that kind of stuff. I don't have it. But you get behind me and help me, and I will help you. The Holy Quran says, if you help Allah, Allah will help you. It's not help to a man who's strung out to help keep him on, to stay strung out. You're not helping him until you help him stop. You don't need no help to stay on it. You need help to stop it. I'm offering you help. If you turn me down, well, I ain't got no other help to give you. Everything other than helping you to be an upright human being is not help. So you suit yourself. But don't come to me asking me to help you support your cigarette habit and all them habits that's killing you. So let's look at a little more of this news here.
His appeal. So there's a lot of eyes on each set, and they're supposed to be right in both cases.
Is this the only time that we have of evidence of this sort of approach, or are there other examples as well?
Yeah, Yeah, this was a follow-up story that I did to another I did in October that was basically the same sorts of discrepancies in two other buildings that belong to Trump. And one is 40 Wall Street, which is his skyscraper, historic skyscraper in the financial district. And the other is the Trump International Hotel and Tower. And he doesn't own most of that building anymore, but he does own some commercial space there that he has a loan out on. And all of these discrepancies occurred during refinances that he was taking out, refinancings. And they were all with the same lender.
So I guess my question is like, this is the question of the era in some ways. How common is this? Like, if you scratched a whole bunch of real estate developers in New York, would you see these discrepancies, which are essentially, to me, seem like kind of like gray area fraud, if not outright illegal? Or the people you talked to who looked at this, did they say like, this is skating pretty close to the line, you don't see this a lot?
Obviously nobody is doing this, on a wide kind of scale where we could get an idea of exactly how right and how wrong these numbers often were. But what I'm, talking to professionals who work in this area and see this stuff a lot, what I was told was that these numbers should be closer, that folks would expect them to be closer, that folks are relying on these numbers to make all kinds of financial decisions, that they're important numbers, and that these are, it's not okay that they're not more similar. Is what experts told me.
Yeah, not okay that they're not more similar is a good takeaway, and also makes you wonder about if you did get his tax returns fully, what you would find there. And Heather Vogel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Next, new national polling shows a pretty big drop for Elizabeth Warren. What could be causing a shift at the top of the race after this? A shocking new report from the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General today shows that
as I drive across country, I see all of the time on the back of those tractor trailers, those truckers, you see all the time, have you seen this child? And how often I have seen that. Then I think about some of the things that I have, witnessed. Online. At one time they even had a thing. Let's see if I can find it. Give me a minute. But when people do things that your humanity seems to scream out that that's wrong, but yet you see people do it. Then you start to understand why the scriptures refer to some of us that are in human form as beasts. Just a moment. I remember once I went online and I think they took it off of me now. Well, let's see here. Now, I want you to look at this. Now, this is going on in the world. And this is really sad. That's the moment.
Pleasures. But with great snacks comes great responsibility, as the calories flock to our waistline, the butter clogs up our arteries, the sugar rots our teeth, and the fried chicken, well, no one knows what the fried chicken gets up to. And no matter where you are, snacks generally have the same general features. They're sweet or they're salty, and they're high in fat. If anyone tries telling you that they snack on kale or cauliflower stalks, then you need to explain that this is not a snack. It's an insult, and they should be burnt at the stake for being a witch. But thanks to the weird range of personal tastes around the world, some countries' snacks are the weirdest, grossest junk you can imagine. So today consists of strips of salty dried fish. Its texture and biltong are made from meat. Vulva is mostly skin, so it's basically salty fish.
Time now for the morning stir, and McDonald's, as you've never seen it before, this morning revealing secrets to some of your favorite menu items for the first time. And ABC's Gio Benitez got an exclusive, unprecedented access inside.
But I have actually found where they was trying to demonstrate to people how to prepare human meat for eating. And I thought about how animals, when they go hunting, they don't go, a lion does not, he would much rather eat a calf than that grown creature, because the calf can't put up much fight. And I don't put nothing past you. You here, what is kidnapping? It is taking a person against their will, if they are an adult, taking them against their will and forcing them to go where you want them to go. Huh? If it's a child, it's taking them without the permission of their parents. Huh? Forcibly removing them from their parents. I don't care what kind of order you got to do it. If the parent is sane, that's that person's child and that's their responsibility, and you should not take them without their permission. Do you understand? Now watch this.
And Border Protection originally projected they would separate, get this, 26,000 migrant children from their parents, take them away from their parents, even though they knew at the time that they had no internal abilities to track the children and to eventually reunite them with their parents. And to this day, we do not know.
Well, if they had intended on taking 26,000 of them away from their parents without having any way of tracking them, what were they planning on doing with it? I mean, I see on the back of trucks, have you seen this child? And generally, it's a little white child. What's happening to the children? Especially when you see people seemingly condoning and making heroes out of characters like Hannibal Lecter. You know, they say when you take a child from any place, or take any person from any place, and whatever state they was in, you cross into another state, it automatically becomes a federal crime. I understand the principle behind it, I think, and that is the state's jurisdiction ends at the state line. The federal jurisdiction covers all 50 states. So kidnapping, they say, is a federal crime. Well, what happens when it's the federal government that's doing it?
Definitively, how many children were separated? As the department's own report put it, quote, "We could not confirm the total number of families DHS separated during the zero tolerance period." NBC National Security and Justice correspondent Julia Ainsley read the report. She wrote about it today, and she joins me now from Washington, D.C. What's the report say about the preparation and the scale of what DHS was contemplating, which, let's remember, everyone in the administration swore up and down didn't exist, that they never planned for it, and they weren't actually doing as they were doing it?
That's right, Chris. So basically, large scale, very little preparation. And yes, we knew reports, you and I were reporting in the early weeks and months of the administration that this was under consideration. We know that this is something that people like Chad Wolf, who is now the acting secretary of DHS, had planned for. But even still, Chris, what this report found is that in May of 2018, right as this policy was about to launch, officials at Customs and Border Protection looked at their technology infrastructure and realized they had no way of tracking children who were separated from their parents, no way to know that they were separated when they showed up in the system, where they were, where their parents were, or how to bring the two back together. And they went ahead and did it anyway. I think that was the most shocking thing. That and that 26,000 number. The Customs and Border Protection officials.
And that's not the whole truth. Because to say that they didn't have any idea what they was going to do with them when they separated them, they wouldn't have took them if they didn't know what they was going to do with them. They knew exactly what they was going to do with them. Take them and give them to who they intended to give them to. Did they know what they was going to do with us when they took us from Africa? Now, what was the old thing y'all was saying? You used to bring it up all the time. That was our fathers. We didn't have nothing to do with that. Okay. Just want you to know. It's you now.
I do.
You saw that, right? The stock market just hit another all-time in history high.
Trump never misses an opportunity to tout the economy as one of his big.
He talking about the stock market, and they sitting back there clapping. How many of them people that's clapping do you suppose got anything invested in the stock market? You know, that's what that reminds me of what the man said in dealing with the public. You know why most of them ignorant people like Donald Trump? It's because he's ignorant like them, and they see in him he say things that they would say and all of that kind of thing. He got the combination to them. And they don't realize he telling them what he know they want to hear. And he just pandering to them. You know. And he telling them in so many words, to hell with you, and they enjoying packing for the trip. Do you understand? Yeah, they having a good old time. Sticking it to the man, and he just sticking it to them. What is it? Anyway, I want you to remember, if you want to be safe, you better get behind me, and you better get there and stay there. And when you do it your way, don't come crying to me. And don't think I don't know when somebody follows me. Okay? All of y'all that's listening, whether you hearing this, you can't follow me and be unsuccessful. I know that because I'm not unsuccessful. I trust in Allah's guidance. Allah guides me and I guide you. Now, how in the world you gonna be? I'm gonna be successful, and we following the same guidance, but you gonna be unsuccessful. That don't work. Nope. That don't work. Oh, I'm whatever I put my hand to that Allah say, I started that a long time ago with the messenger. I remember we couldn't sell. Most of us wasn't selling 40 pounds of fish a day. The messenger said one word. We got word from him. We didn't hear him say it. Somebody just told us. The messenger said any brother that can't sell at least 100 pounds of fish a day, he ain't got no business on the fish crew. From that day on, we all started selling over 100 pounds a day. You know, me and brother Albert, we were sitting up there talking it over, and some of the other brothers, but I specifically remember brother Brother Albert and me. I said, man, if the messenger said we can sell 100 pounds a day, well then that's Allah talking to him. So if we going out here and trust what the messenger said, we gonna do that. We start doing it. We start selling 200 pounds a day a piece. We took 400 pounds out, came back with nothing, and started doing it on a regular basis. If we had strong enough faith, we could have took out 1,000 pounds a day and sold. We limited ourselves. Allah ain't put no limits on us. We limited ourselves by our way of thinking. You see, and after all that we experienced and saw it, then when the messenger wasn't here, everybody just looked like they just went to pieces. That's why I ain't made no ministers and no captains, no lieutenants, nothing. I'm going to teach everybody. I'm going to see to you knowing what I know. If you let somebody take it from you, that's you. Matter of fact, can't nobody take it from you. You just have to throw it away. There ain't nobody on this planet can speak something to shut my mouth. In the world, you got one eye and I got two, and you see better than me. Ain't no way, Jose. Well, I see better than anybody on this planet. So, why you think none of them challenge me now? You didn't hear the man argue with me when I said science means truth. The science of agriculture, the science of this, the science of that. It's the truth of that. And a scientist is someone who believes in truth and searches for truth. And a man that searches for truth, you ain't gonna be able to put no lie over on him. Because truth, when you get experience in following truth, you know that truth always proves itself. Anything that cannot prove itself is not truth. You see? It's just like me. I stand up here, and every time I come before you, I'm proving to you who I am. It ain't my fault if you ain't got sense enough to see that I'm doing that. I'm not the one hiding and dodging people's questions. People dodge me. People hide from me. At least they try to. So, I see I got some visitors here. That's usually texting me about this time. Telling me I got 10 minutes. Well, who's going to text me now since you here? So we are. I enjoyed the exchange with me, and I've had him before. That wasn't his first time in here. We talked before. And he has basically always been respectful and, bring up good topics to go back and forth about. But like I was telling him, when you just are passing, when you are an outsider of any situation, especially when it comes to religion, it's kind of hard for you to argue it. See, in order to argue the validity or the invalidity of Christianity or any of these religions, you have to know something about religion. See, and I know something about religion, and I know that there could be only one. Simply because if there's only one God, why would he have more than one? How many constitutions is it? There's not but one Constitution of the United States. Now, each state has its own state constitution, but that state constitution falls under the jurisdiction of the United States Constitution. If that state's constitution contradicts the U.S. Constitution, then it is invalid. Do you understand? Okay. So I'm here, and I know that there's only one God. And because there's only one God, there can be only one faith. There can be only one true doctrine. And when you look at the doctrine, well, if you can show me how God would have a religion other than entire submission to his will, since he is God, why would he have anything other than his will be done? I mean, you can prove that by your own self. Now, some of you all may not have a house yet, but when you get a house, if it's yours, I think that whoever come in there gonna have to abide by whatever you want done in your house. Or that same door that lets you in here, let it hit you on the way out. Huh? Or I said, don't let it hit you on the way out. If you get on out of my house, if you don't want to abide by the rules of my house, you get out. I tell you what, when foreign dignitaries come inside of America, they are guests of America. If America catches you doing something inside of her borders that is out of accord with what she has explained to you, what the government has explained to you about, this is against the law here. You can't do that here. They catch you doing it. Most of the time, they just put you out. Sometimes they'll put you in jail and try you here. Do you understand? But for the most part, diplomacy, a man that has diplomatic immunity, that covers a wide range of things. I don't know if it covers murder, though. But it covers a wide range of things. With most of America's allies, they have a what you call a treaty, a deportation, or what they call it, where they can extradition. If you violate something too bad, they say we want that person back over here because they are suspected of having done this or having done that, and they may have to send some of the information of what was done, but that country have to extradite that person back to America. You see, and vice versa. You see, but to show you that even you believe in entire submission to your will in your house, Well, in my Father's house, there are many houses. The earth belongs to Allah. And anything that happens on it is his business, which makes it my business since he appointed me to execute his business, his judgment. I notice ain't none of the big mouths that used to be talking tough to me, they ain't talking tough no more. But I did tell you you wasn't going to be doing that pretty soon, didn't I? Nah, Allah told you before I told you. You just didn't understand what you was reading. He said, behold, my true servant, whom I uphold. See, you've been looking at all these preachers claiming to be imams and rabbis and sheikhs and all these cardinals and bishops and stuff, claiming to be God's servant. But they wasn't God's servant. Not in the sense of having been chosen by God to teach you. I am his true servant. That's why he uphold everything I say. He said, behold my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighted. That's right. So, man, I done tried to do things that I ain't had no business. Get so scared I had to stop. So, it just, the messenger said it right. He said the black man's nature make him to tremble in fear when he know that he fall off the path. That's right. So I know that Allah is keeping me. People just don't know. If you can look at someone like me, whom Allah is keeping, he's letting me be human because that's what I am. But at the same time, he do me like you do a horse. You go too far over there, you snatch him back. Huh? Yeah. But just because you saw the horse try to go the wrong way, you should have kept on looking. But you didn't keep looking. You didn't keep listening. Don't you know it's no way that I could stand up and teach you like I teach you if Allah wasn't helping me? And if Allah is helping me, he must be pleased with me. So I know one thing, I'm sure pleased with him. That's why you don't see me letting nothing come between me and him. Everything that Allah give me, I'm going to use it. Like that song says, if I had 10,000 hands, I use every one to lift his name. That's right. Every dime I get my hands on is to lift up Allah's word and show that Allah guides us, and his guidance is the best. So all praises due to him. Allah sent me help, and I'm not going to run them away. They come with faults. They came from the same world that you in. I'm going to help them get rid of them faults, and they're going to come forth as pure gold. So, whosoever, as it's written, says, whosoever cometh unto me, I will in no wise cast out. For you could not come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw you. So, long as you don't get crazy with me, we'll be all right. Just remember, I'm the only one who raised my voice around here. You don't never raise your voice to me. You conduct yourself like you know I'm the leader and you the follower. And you don't forget that, you'll be all right. Because by now you ought to know I'm on your side. I ain't the one. If I'm fussing at you, it's to correct you. It's not to try to belittle or to make you feel down. It's to correct you. Then you accept your correction and go on. You understand? And don't let me have to keep telling you the same thing. Because that tells me you're not accepting correction. Huh? Okay. So now, as the book say, the fool hastens to the correction of the stocks. I ain't finna try to beat you to get you to do what I say. I'm gonna put you out. No. You either do what I say or hit the road. You understand? Okay. Now you notice, as I'm telling you this, the whole world listening. You hear anybody saying, that nigga, hey man, who you think you supposed to be? Ain't no ask me who I think I'm supposed to be. No, you don't believe I'm the Lord. I'll tell you what, name a prophet that y'all ever believed in. So why should the Lord of them expect you to believe in him? No, you say the same thing about me that they said about Jesus. Well, we ain't stoning you because of no works you did. We stoning you because you're committing blasphemy, being a man, making yourself God. And Jesus told him, he said, ain't it written in your law that these words, I quote, I have said ye are gods? Then if he called them gods, let them know he wasn't talking about you. If he called them gods, whom the word of God was sent, which came to, then sayest thou of me? Sayest thou of him whom the Father hath sanctified and sent into the world, thou blasphemest because I said I'm the Son of God? Well, he called them gods unto whom the word of God came. That's my words. I'm the Son of God. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't get no light of understanding of nothing that them people say, that the prophets say. You didn't have no understanding. I'm the S-U-N of God, which makes me God. As the book says, Allah is the light of the heaven and the earth. You notice, I'm the one who gives you light of understanding of the heavenly and the earthly knowledge and show you how they connect to each other. The heavenly knowledge and the earthly knowledge connects with each other like the atmosphere and the continents. And I'm the only one who can connect them. Because I'm the only one that have both of them inside of them. Now, and I'm pulling it up out of you. Then there you, like the sun pulling it up out of the earth. Is that right? Yeah, I know that's right. So I'm that was a quick 15 minutes. Anyway, we done went off there up in Detroit, but I want y'all to know that I'm on your side. If you black as tar, I'm on your side. If you white as snow, I'm on your side. If you brown, I'm on your side, and if you yellow, I'm on your side. Because we are family. That's right. We are, the messenger said, civilized means to teach the knowledge and wisdom of the human family of the planet Earth. You're not civilized until you see that every human being is relatives of each other. Well, it's time for a family reunion. Oh, praise is due to our Lord. We have been divided.
Happy Thanksgiving, Son of Master.
Beg your pardon? Oh, happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Of course, it ain't Thanksgiving here yet, so I know it ain't got that. Because y'all 2 hours behind us. But it is Thanksgiving in Detroit, so. But every day is Thanksgiving for the Muslims. That's why you don't hear me making a big thing out of it. Because I give thanks every day to Allah for all that He has done for me that I can't even enumerate. You know, the wondrous thing about it, it's just like me. I don't know how many times just being in the meeting, being at the temple when I was, I remember some of the brothers I used to run with, some pretty rough brothers. And some of y'all that, knew me, I knew how to fit in wherever I was at. And so I could talk the talk and walk the walk and do those things. And some of them brothers dead. And if I had still been out there in that world, it's safe to assume I would have been too. So how many times have my life been spared simply because I called when Allah's messenger, I answered the call when Allah's messenger, when his call reached me. I said, I hear and I obey. Now, how many times a week, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, because Saturday was FOI. How many times did just being there save my life without me even realizing? I think about John F. Kennedy because, that still brings sadness to me when I think over him. How much we all, in our way loved him. Because he inspired patriotism. He inspired people to want to be better. And I think about when I was in junior high school and he got killed. We was all broke up. But anyway, when you look back at history and how things were back then and look at things now, you don't have the perspective. Most of you who are under 60, you don't have the same perspective. As someone that was born back in the 50s that remember when television was new, when the telephone was new, when the rotary dial phone was the phone. And, when you could turn the television on and you didn't have to have no, what you call, no warnings about whether that's fit for your child to look at, whatnot. All television was basically PG, or general. What's the the simple general audiences, rated G, because the cartoons were clean. The television basically just had westerns on, and used to look at when Clint Eastwood was a youngster on Rawhide, named Rowdy Yates, and that kind of thing. And everything was clean. At least gave the appearance of clean. The Danny Thomas and the Nelsons and all of that, Leave It to Beaver, all that stuff was on there. And it gave you an image to live up to. Image is very important. It reminded me of what some of the winos used to do. That's what television used to do. A lot of those who was putting wholesome shows on TV, they wasn't wholesome themselves. But they was feeding somewhat wholesome images to the public. As good as saying Dr. Wino used to tell me, "Now come here, young blood. Now look at me. Hey, you don't want to be like me." I appreciated that. That was a friend who, as good as was a living proof that if you're thinking about doing this, this is where it's going to lead you to. Do you really want to be like me? You don't want to be like me. Hollywood used to be like that. They would put things on the television that would inspire you to want to be clean and respectful and decent. I remember that. The messenger said this to us. He said, all of the good that he did for you, he's going to take it all back. Now look what he puts on there for you now. Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils. Every kind of evil, filthy thought you can have, people express it now. Not just verbally, they express it in movies, express it in songs, and expressing all kind of evil. And you just lap it up like a hog lapping up slop. This is what I'm put in the middle of to try to save your life. The reason I say try is not because I cannot, not because I don't have the power, but it's because you have a free will. And trying to convince someone who's been eating lies and eating garbage all their life that, hey, you got to stop that. You won't really got to stop. Well, I've been eating this all my life. Well, you done fell in love with eating. I know the temptation of it. I've been tempted by it too. I know. But when you see what the end of it is, that should sober you up pretty quick. The end of it is not peace. The end of it is hell. You got a blink in the power. Well, I want you to know that the door of salvation is open. Do you remember what, just like me, I had to walk and trust in the scriptures. The messenger, like Morpheus, took Neo to the door. I can bring you to the door, but you only got to go through. To him, the porter opened. So, like Master Farad Muhammad told the messenger, if you can find one that you can teach it all to, I will widen your circle. You remember in the Matrix where Morpheus was asked what did the oracle tell him? She told him that he would find the one that he could teach it to. Master Farad Muhammad sent the messenger back to find me. And now, as the messenger said, he said, brother, you have the hardest job of any man that ever lived. And everything Master Farad Muhammad was saying to the messenger was for me. Remember, he was a messenger. So the messenger said, Master Farad Muhammad told him, he said, Marcus Garvey, he loved you all. He said, but he lacked the knowledge. Just a moment. Got a little problem. That power loss cut my TV off. So I got to turn it back on. And rehook my computer. But he said, Marcus Garvey, he loves you all. He said, but he lacked the knowledge of how to get you up. He also said, no, but Drew Ali. If I can find the folder, better yet, I'll do it like this.
Jesus died for us. Well, if he died for you, how many more Jesus does it take now to free you? been mistreated by white people since the death of Jesus more than before. We was not here in North America for the white man to mistreat us in the time of Jesus. We just came here, or was brought here rather, 300 years ago, 400 years ago. If we had been here when they got to the ocean, they hit the teachers up at the office, took stage to set up the sea, and they lifted up the boat, shaking it at the sea, and said, if it wasn't for this sea, I would keep on to the end of the earth, put into death every infidel that I find. Well, God taught me, he said, like he said, if you all had been over here at that time, he said, he doesn't know we ain't got himself. He said, all of them. He said that. The devil and I have spoiled you so they don't want to take up the time to try to put you back where you want came from. He said they don't want to teach you. You're so spoiled and ruined by the devil that they can't stand your insult. So they left the work up to me and you to do. He says, and we are not going to miss it. Marcus Garvey made us here, he said. He loves you all, but he didn't have Marcus Garvey made us here, he said. He loves you all, but he didn't have the knowledge that he should have had to have brought you out of. Nobody to our lead, he said, he tried. But he was not able because he lacked the knowledge. He said, now they have all left him to us, you and me. There's no one to get them now but you and me. The job is on us. He said, but when I have gotten through teaching you, you will be able to get them all.
And that's what I'm telling you. He finished teaching me when he gave me life. And he said that after he finished teaching me, I would be able to get everybody. You see, I got everybody. They don't have no argument for me. You see? Well, you see, I'm the fulfillment of that. I'm able to get everybody. That's why I'm so anxious to talk to people who disagree with me. That's my chance to convert somebody. So when you are honest enough to tell me that you don't agree with me, then that's the beginning of a conversation, of which I already know the end of. Before it's over with, I will have you bearing me witness. Not by deceiving you, not by tricking you, but by giving you the truth. When the truth is given to you, it is crystal clear. The truth is the light. And so, as he said, my word is truth. Well, my word is the light. Then I'm the sun.
That's right. All praises due to Allah. Anybody want to ask me something before I let you go? It's Wednesday. I know y'all getting ready for Thanksgiving. And you're going to eat you some jive turkey. And
Wanted to say happy belated birthday.
well, thank you, beloved. Thank you.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
I'm gonna be like what's George Jefferson?
Family and a happy Christmas. But I know you. Okay. I love you, son of man.
Not as much as I do you, and that's clear. You notice George Jefferson's mama. They never did say, just said Mother Jefferson. They never did say what her name was. But anyway, she used to tickle me. She would tell somebody that she was 80. And then she started telling them she was, let me see. She said, if I left this good at 74, just say, how good they would tell me I look if I tell them I'm 84. So I think I start telling people I'm 99. What? Huh? Was her name Olivia? Yeah, well, Florence used to call her mother, Wheezy used to call her Mother Jefferson. But anyway, yeah, she would lie about her age. You know. You say, well, you talking about lying about, I could be lying if I told you I was 78 trillion years old. Because I understand what I'm saying. You don't want to understand. You know. I can say things that can't nobody else say but me. You see. So, you know, like I told you, I'm the oldest one on the planet. Yep. So, I'm going to let y'all go. And we're going to take this up some more Friday. And I know y'all ain't got no whole lots of stuff to do tomorrow. So I could say that you could stay on around here with me a little while tonight. Because you ain't going to do nothing tomorrow. Ain't nothing open tomorrow. So, but I ain't going to hold you. I'm going to let you go. But I just want to make sure there ain't nobody have no questions that they want to get off their chest. You know, if you do, this is the time to do it. And I thank all of you for, that wanted to wish me happy birthday and that kind of thing. Most people don't even know what birthday is. They just say it. Like I said, I'm here to clear up stuff. Your the thing that you call birthday is not actually your birthday. It's not the real one. The real one was when that sperm and ovum mixed with each other, and that clot came to birth, and it birthed itself to the uterine wall of your mother. That was your first birthday. See? Like a ship when it's in a harbor, and they tie it with that rope, and they say it's birthed at that particular. You understand? Okay. And then when they get ready to go back to sea with it, they loose it from the dock. then is loose the cord that's holding it. And that's what the doctor does for us. He cuts the cord and christens that ship on out, that relationship between the parent and the child. It's a ship too. You see. So we have lots that we don't think about. See, the more you get up, like in an airplane, the higher you get up, the more you can see. You see how much? As you raise you up, the more you can see. Huh? You get less petty, easier to get along with. So that's why the kingdom of heaven is compared to yeast. It makes dough easier to work with. You see. You get the word of God in you get easier to get along with, easier to work with. So when you come to when you come to birth in the visible sense, then they call it the day you were birthed. You see, came out connected to your mother. So then they cut that cord. Then you on your own. Huh? Yeah. So, but as I was saying, I hope that I brought some things to the remembrance of those who are ruling so that they could see how far they have fallen. I remember in Batman, I remember a line in there when Bruce was a little boy, he fell down in a well. And his father went down in there and pulled him up. And he was crying and looking pitiful. And his daddy asked him, he said, "Why do we fall?" And he asked him the question and he answered the question for him. He says, so we can learn to pick ourselves up again. You see, the measure of a man, you don't measure his manhood and his worth by how he is able to stand. That's not the real measure of the man. The measure of the man is what happens when he falls. Is he able to pick himself back up? So, pick yourself back up. You can do it. I told you, I'm going to help you. I will help you. I've been trying to help you for the longest. You listen to me, I bet you won't be no laughing stock of nobody. I stop people from laughing at me. What make you think I can't stop them from laughing at you? Okay. Do what you know how to do. You know how to stop this foolishness. Put a stop to it. These people, and I already told you what they're trying to get you to do. They're trying to get you to implode. That's why one lie after another, one crazy thing after another. Tell you that he's a female dog, male dog, female, male, boy, girl dog.
What is all that about? It's to get you to lose complete faith in your own government. And the next thing, once a people lose faith in their government, that sets the stage for revolution. And not peaceful revolution. That's why they lying to you so much. Trying to get you to blow up and kill yourself. Thinking that you need to rise up against the government, when it's not your government that's all messed up. It's the people who's been entrusted with that sacred trust to uphold your laws. They the ones that let you down. The Constitution has been sufficient to keep revolution down among you for how long? For 200 years. It's still a good document. You hook the Constitution with the Word of God and you be unbeatable. Until pretty soon you will discover that the Constitution and the Word of God were meant to be anyway. They both came from God. The Constitution is a walker that was built by God. That's all. You know, you make a walker to keep your baby from falling. Listen to me. You'll be all right. Pick yourself up. Dust yourself off. You can do it. You got a man that already hinted to you what he wants you to do. If I be removed from office, there will be a revolution. There'll be a civil war. Why would he say that? Because that's what he's trying to do anyway. Can't you see he's been trying to put him and his helpers have been trying to put you against each other? That's the only way they could destroy this country is to turn you against each other. You better wake up. Look at what's happening. Ain't no government been strong enough or an example enough to take the eyes of the world off of you. So now they're trying to dumb you down and make you throw your good thing away. They ain't got nothing to replace it with. But tyranny. You see how he treat people? Michael Cohen was his friend, wasn't it? Till Michael Cohen started telling the truth on it. Then what happened? Everybody who befriends that man winds up regretting it. Because he ain't no friend to nobody. And the people that he's working for don't give a damn about you. Okay. Don't say I didn't try. I did try to reach you, and I tried to reach you with truth. You don't hear none of them unmuting their phone telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. If you don't think I know what I'm talking about, come in here and show me where I'm wrong and why. I'll listen. Then stay on the phone because I may want to ask you a question or two. You got a man claim to love the military who when it came time for him to go in, did everything he could not to. He even, just same way he boo-booed all over the Constitution, he boo-booed all over the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Now he wants to paint a picture of the America's military as being a bunch of fanatical murderers by praising a man that the military had brought up on charges. I guess William Kelly, who massacred them people in Vietnam, is a hero to Donald Trump. What's heroic about murdering people who can't fight back? You got the guns, they got nothing. There's nothing heroic about that. Talking about what maybe you think, well, maybe he would have got with the Viet Cong or whatever. But at the time you saw him, he had nothing. And if they did that to Americans, you would call it a massacre. You would call it a crime against humanity. That's what you called it when Hitler did it to Europeans. If I'm wrong for what I'm saying, show me where I'm wrong. I'm not like these self-righteous hypocrites out here. You can talk to me. Anytime a man believes he's right and truly believes he's right, he ain't hard to talk to. But if he's just fronting, he has unrighteous indignation when you disagree with him. So to hide the fact that he really don't in his heart believe he's right, he suggests that there's something wrong with you for even questioning him. Then he tells you, well, I'm not going to dignify you with even a discussion. Get him out of here. And this man wants to be the head or the government over that person that he's showing such disdain and disrespect for. Why should you be over people that you don't give a damn about? That's why they don't want to talk to me. You notice I tell you a lot of things, and I always tell you that's why they don't want to talk to me. You can't come in here with your lies. I recognize a lie when I hear it. People can only deceive you with lies. If they tell you the truth, they're not deceiving you. Okay. So I'm going to let you go. May Allah bless us all, keep us safe, and in our right minds.
And I look forward to talking with you again Friday. May Allah's Salam alaikum.
This session is no longer being recorded. Goodbye.